Hi, welcome to my channel, Panda Crochet. Today what I am going to be teaching is how to do a double crochet, a treble crochet, and a double treble crochet. I will also be teaching how to switch colors. Today I'm going to be using blue and pink, obviously, and I am using my J hook, 5.75. You can use any hook. So let's get started. So if you watched my previous video, you know how to do a slip knot. If not, here I'm going to show it again. What I do is I like to make them parallel, and then I twist the top just as so, and go through that hole there, and I grab the long yarn that is hooked to your ball. You just pull it through. I have a video that explains it a little bit more. If you would like to go watch that real quick and then come back, that would be great. If not, let's move on. So like in the previous video, I taught how to do chain, which I will do it again real quick. I'm just going to do a short chain just for the demonstration to teach the stitches. And then my next video, I will teach how to do rounds, but for now, we're just going to do rows. So I'm going to do chain. You wrap around and you pull through. You wrap around and pull through. Rows like this is good if you're doing, say you're doing a blanket or making a scarf. And then rounds are good if you're making like hats, beanies, doily, any of that. But for a demonstration, I'm just going to do a short chain. Remember to wrap around, then pull through, wrap around, pull through. Now if you're making a scarf, make your chain as long as you would like the scarf to be, and then add, depending on which stitch you did, like in the previous video we did a single crochet. If you do a single crochet, you want to add one extra loop, and if you're doing a half double, you want to add 2 extra. If you're doing a double, which is what we're going to be doing, you want to add 3. So let's add that extra one. Oops, hold on. Looks like I pulled my yarn through wrong. Alright, so once you have your chain down, so we're going to add those extra chains, 1, 2, 3. So we're doing double crochets today. And what you're going to do is, it still looks kind of funky. Alright. What you're going to do is, instead of going, if you're doing a single crochet, you just want to go, see here's your first stitch here, you want to go through that second one. If you're doing a half double crochet, you will go through the third one. So 1, 2, 3, but we are doing half doubles, so we're going to go through, so 1, 2, 3. So we are going to go through this third one right here. So remember, if you're doing a single crochet, you just skip 1. So you would go to this one. And if you're doing half, you want to skip 2. And if you're doing a double crochet, you want to skip 3. So 1, 2, 3. Now to do a half double, what you're going to do is wrap around, and you're going to go through that stitch, go through that third stitch right there. Push it through, wrap around, pull through it, and you have 3 loops. If you watched my previous video on how to do a half double crochet, you know you wrap around and you pull through all 3. But with a double crochet, it's basically the same, but instead you're going to wrap it around. Instead of pulling it through all 3, we're just going to pull it through 2. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. And then you're going to wrap around, pull through those 2. And there is a half double crochet. Now the reason why you skip those chains depending on which stitch you do is because that becomes a stitch. So now you have technically have 2 double crochets. So once again, wrap around. I'm going to go through the very next stitch here. See, here's the stitch we just worked in. You're going to this next one. I'm going to stick it in. You're going to wrap around and pull through. So now you have 3 loops. I'm going to wrap around, pull through 2, wrap around, pull through 2. Once again, you're going to wrap, go through the very next stitch here. Oops, sorry. Go through this next one. This one we worked in. Here's the next one. You're going to stick it in, wrap around, and pull. Pull through 2, pull through 2. Alright, so now we're going to work that all the way across. If you still need to watch how to do it, rewind it, keep practicing. I've found that most projects I work with is going to be worked with either a half double or double crochet. Of course, you'll use your single stitch, and your chains will be on any project that you do. You will have to know how to do a chain no matter what you do. So I would suggest perfecting your chains if possible. Just keep working on them, because there's not going to be one single project you do that you will not need to do any kind of chains. So working on your half double, once you get your half double, you're able to do your double trebles and your regular trebles. And you'll be able to do puffs and clusters, which I'll teach those in later videos, but you need to perfect your double crochet before you can work on those. So what we're going to do now is, I got my row here. You're going to do a chain 2. So remember, if you are working single crochets, you go up 1 chain. Then you turn your work and you do your row. Half doubles, you do 2 chains. And then doubles, you want to do 3. Now, I personally like to just do 2 on my half and double, but whichever works for you, makes you feel more comfortable. So we're going to turn it. And, well, we're going to do double trebles now, so I'm going to go up 1 more. Okay. If you feel more comfortable, you can go up 1 more too and have 4. Most people do 4 when they do trebles. Okay, so now you have your chain. The reason why you would do that is because you want to be able to have your row, your stitch as high as not. I will show you what happens if you don't do that. So for an example, so you understand, say I do just 1 loop and then I decide to do a half double crochet, just for an example real quick. So I'd say I do a double, and see, it kind of pulls it down, doesn't make it straight. So that's why you want to make sure that you do your chains to lift it up as high as the stitch you're going to do. So I got 1, 2, 3, and since now we're doing trebles, we want to go up 4. So remember, 1 is single, 2 is half double, 3 is double, 4 is treble. Alright, so now treble, what you're going to do, instead of wrapping around once like we do with the half double or the double crochet, you are going to wrap it twice. And so you're going to go see, here's your chain, and there's a hole right here. You want to go into that hole right there. So just stick it in. You're going to pull through. So as you can see, you have 4 loops, and just like the half double, or like the double, I'm sorry, we're going to go through 2 loops. So wrap around or yarn around, pull through just 2 of them. So now you have 3 loops. You need yarn over, pull through 2. Now you have 2 loops. And as you guessed, you're going to yarn over and pull through 2. And that's how you do a treble. So now you get your double and your treble. Let's do it again. Wrap around twice. Go through the very next stitch here. See, here's the stitch you just worked in. Here's the next one. Stick it in. Pull through. Good job, everybody. So now we got 4 loops here, as you can see. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So as you can see, we got our trebles here. So let's just keep doing that all the way around, or all the way across. If you still need to work on it, just rewind the video. I'm just gonna go ahead and go to the end here. Okay, just working our way. As you can see, the stitch you do really will determine your project. So if you're doing, say you're making a hat and the pattern calls for double, but you want to do treble, as you can see, it is half the size. If I flip it here, that stitch is half the size of this bottom one. So, but you won't really find many hats that call for the treble, obviously. But if you want to do it, you're going to have to account for the size. Otherwise, your hat's going to be twice as big as you need it to be. So now we're working our way down the end here. And I am going to show you how to switch colors here. And then we're going to do our double trebles. So let's go to the end. So there are 2 ways to do. Make sure, before I mention this, make sure a lot of people, when they first start out, they miss this because it's kind of hard to see. But remember that you need to, see if I can get this close enough. See, there's these 2 top stitches here. Right here. See, here's your chain, your beginning chain. And you want to make sure to get that stitch. So we're going to stick it in it. Yes, just like that. Oh, looks like I didn't yarn over twice. And we go through that hole. Yeah, and pull through 2. Pull through 2. Pull through 2. So there are 2 ways, like I said, to do this. Obviously my project doesn't look quite even because there are 2 different size stitches, of course, but this is just for demonstration. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I will show you the way I like to do it, and then the other way. So if you're doing it switching colors, so you do your last stitch, go through that hole, then go through 2, go through 2, but we're not going to pull through these next 2 loops here. What you're going to do is you're going to grab your new color and just have them parallel. You can do your slip stitch, or you can just grab it as is. I like to grab it as is because I feel like it makes it a little less bulky, but whatever makes you more comfortable. And you're just going to pull it through those 2. So now you have you've just joined your new color. Now, so you'd be able to, of course, just go up and do your next row. Another way to do it is, stick this through, is to go through and finish that stitch. So let's go through and finish that stitch. And then you will cut, and you will just pull it straight through, just as so. And then you will take your new yarn. When I do it this way, I like to make my slip stitch. And then what you'll do is you will go into that top stitch right there we just pull through. And then you just grab your yarn. Let's make this a little tighter. Sorry, it's kind of hard to do this through the camera. There we go. Okay. And then you're just going to pull it through. There you go. This is why I don't like doing it this way. It's a little more complicated. Kind of loosens up. I'm going to try it again. Like I said, it's kind of hard doing this through the camera, so let me look around so I could do this to show it better. Okay, so now you got your yarn on your hook. We're going to go through that top stitch there. I swear I know how to do this. So now you gotta go, bring it in, and we're gonna do a slip stitch, which is just going through. So now you have that joins. So now we're gonna go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and if you want, you can go up 5. I generally like to do one less. I just feel like it looks better. As you can see, I meant to do the one less here and see how it kind of looks a little more rounder, which that's why I like to do the one less, because I feel like it makes it a little tighter there, which I forgot to take out one when I did it. So what you want to do is just flip your project again. I generally like to work my my string in with my work. I can show a little bit what I mean, how to do that. You just kind of hold it. I will have another video that will explain it a little bit more. But for now, I'll just keep it to the side. Okay, so now we're doing a double treble. So if you notice, in the double we wrapped around once, and in the treble we wrapped around twice. The double treble we wrap around a 4th time. And now we are going to go into this next stitch here, because see, the chain counts as a stitch. So what you want to do is go through that next stitch there, then pull through, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But just like these last 2 stitches we just learned, you're just going to yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 2. And like I said, you know, this stitch is about twice the size of this last stitch. Alright. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3. Go through next stitch. Pull through. Yarn over. Pull through 2. Yarn over. Pull through 2. Yarn over. Pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2, and that is how you do a double treble. I would suggest, if you are learning to do the half double crochet, and maybe just keep going up and work on switching your colors and maybe make a small scarf. I would like to see anybody's project. You can add me on Facebook at Panda Crochet. I would love to see y'all's work. Before I end off here, I would like to explain, I will have a video later on, of course, showing how to read patterns, but I wanted to show a few things that I have already taught, just so that way you have kind of a grasp, and also not to feel a little overwhelmed when I'm teaching how to write written patterns. Just have a few here already written out. Of course, we have the slip stitch, which I showed you what that was. The slip stitch is where you are just going to pull through the yarn. When you just pull through it, and then you pull through the other one. It's just pulling it straight through. And now we have the single crochet, which is just, you know, you grab your yarn. Let's just pull this through here just for an example, just to have a visual. Okay, so you have your single stitch, which is obviously you go through and you pull through, where you have 2, you yarn over and you pull through 2. That is a single. It's pretty easy to tell when you're reading a written pattern. As you can see, it will say SC here, which stands for single crochet. I have underlined because see, SS for slip stitch, it's the beginning letters, SS, single crochet. And it's the same with the HDC. When you see HDC, it's talking about half double crochet, which for, visual is when you wrap around and you go through your stitch, you pull through, and where you have 3 like the double, but where you go through all 3, that would be a half double crochet. HDC, half double. And then of course the double crochet, which is all obviously when you wrap around, you go through your stitch, pull through, where you have 3 just like the half we just did. Instead of going through all 3, you go through 2 and you go through 2. Single, half, double, slip stitch. So I hope you like it. Like I said, I will get in more detail on how to read patterns. It's always good to have kind of a baseline so it feels a little bit easier and has a little more understanding. If you have any questions, please let me know. And thank you. Please subscribe and like my channel. And happy crocheting. Thank you.